I got interested in writing in college. Well, there wasn't really any much story about that. I dabbled with writing for a while. I was also actually, when I went to New York, I had already begun a painting career that I thought I was going to stay in for the rest of my life because I was crazy about painting. And at some point I got bored, I guess, with sitting at home painting all the time and not being involved with people. So since I had an interest in writing plays, I decided to get my feet wet by renting a storefront location. And I put together a theater and started doing plays, other people's plays. And so I did a lot of plays, just about all comers. And eventually I decided to try my hand at one of my own plays, which was called The Christmas Turkey. Well, The Christmas Turkey was a very strange and unorthodox play, like most of the plays of my own I've ever done. I always have a little different kink to it. And this was about on the surface, it was about a cargo cult of the kind, if you ever saw a great documentary on the exploration of New Guinea called The Sky Above, the Mud Below. These people were not in touch with civilization at a certain point when they were exploring it, and they discovered that they were worshiping airplanes, and they built facsimiles of airplanes. So this is what I had. I built a facsimile of an airplane out of mylar, and then at the same time, these people were ranting and raving around this person that sat nude on a table, moving and saying one line and then moving the way a sculptor model moves. I don't know whether you're familiar with sculpting, but sculptor models change positions rapidly compared with artist models. And that's what she did. She would say a line and then she'd move her position. And she just stayed on the table and doing very stylized movements and lines, and these people were just ranting and raving around her. And that was it, and it made quite a splash because no one in the history of the world had ever done a person nude on stage before. So I went ahead with it, and it made a tremendous splash, and it was sellout for 6 months. And right after that, people in New York decided, well, I guess nudity's legal. Hair was off Broadway with clothes on, and they took their clothes off. That's what started it. Well, my first book, that's a collection of my plays, mostly plays that haven't been produced yet. Just one of the 4 plays in it has been produced, which is named Reverend Money. It just came about because I had an opportunity to publish some plays, and I went for it. And I think that they're some of the finest plays that have ever been written in this country, and all extremely original. The first play, which is Divine Retribution, the Trial of Edgar Most. This play is actually a man is on trial for his life, but it's a comedy, something that no one has ever been done before, and it goes on a very thin line between comedy and tragedy, but basically it's dark comedy, and it's actually based on a true story. It's about one of the world's biggest conservationists, biggest in the sense that he donated a lot of money to the various museums for conservation and protection of endangered animals. And to make a long story short, he got caught killing endangered species himself. So that's what inspired me to write this, what I think is a very funny story. Now the second story in this is the Reverend Money. I did a production of this in Hollywood, and it's a two-character play in which I played Reverend Money. And it's just and the story is a man that, it's based frankly on the Mooney cult, or whatever you want to call it, and the character is a takeoff on Reverend Money and his utterly incredible sayings and whatnot. And the woman who is the other character in the play is a investigative reporter who enters the organization to get the goods on this guy, to find out whether he's for real. And she let's see, what does she do? What she does is she does get the goods on him, but of course she pretends that she wants to be a follower. So and so ingratiates herself and becomes the second in command. And she finally in the end, she tells him what she's really doing. She's going to do an expose, and of course he blows his stack, and that's it. It's I think a very funny play. The third play in the book is called the Demagogues, and I wrote it because of the Cold War and the threat of the East and West destroying one another. And it's parallel. The idea is it parallels I think it was a 10-year war that Sparta and Athens fought. It's based on a incident it's a real incident in the Peloponnesian War, in which the Athenians had gotten the upper hand on the Spartans for the first time over an island called Sepagiae, I think it was called. And they had trapped a large Spartan army there, and in a way that they could have destroyed it. And the Spartans wanted to negotiate and were willing to make peace if the Athenians would relent and not do it. And what the play is about is the politicians on both the Spartan side and the Athenian side, what I call demagogues, the demagogic politicians who wanted to destroy the Spartans and not worry about peace, thinking they could destroy them once and for all, and the other politicians who were the doves, and they do a lot of debating, as they did in ancient Greece, in the marketplace, or in the whatever their legislature is. They debated the issues. When the Athenians did this, and the Spartans did it. I don't think there's any historical records that the Spartans actually did it, but they had the same thing. They had their hawks and their doves, and on both sides they were all debating peace or war. And I did it in such a way as to show how if people, they give people a learning lesson from this of how most speakers are trained to persuade. That's what public speaking is, and it's to teach something a little bit about seeing through politicians who are always trying to manipulate them.